This is part 2 of the video series on syncing your iPad to your computer, and in this video we're going to look at the Apps, Music, Movies and TV Shows tab. So let's start with the Apps tab. So select it, and in the Apps tab will give you an idea about what apps you actually have downloaded and what you purchased. And you can, from this tab, decide which apps you'd actually like on your iPad and where you want to put them. You've got all the different screens here from the iPad, and I've got a lot of apps. So I've got nearly 8 screens of apps, and at the moment it's on the home screen, the first one. So if I click on a different page, that brings up all the apps that I have arranged on my iPad. And if I didn't want to mess around on the iPad by holding the apps down and dragging them around with my finger, because it can take a lot of time to get it just the way you want it to, you can do that process straight from iTunes. So if I didn't want the Apple Store app here on this pane 2, but I wanted to put that app onto pane 9, I could drag it. Oh, actually I have to do it from here. It's gone there. Now if I go to pane 9, it's there. So I can move everything around. I could move this one to here, or if I didn't want this one at all, I could delete it by hitting the cross. And the London 2012 Olympics have finished now, so I will delete that one. It's still going to be in my collection of apps, but it's just not going to be on the screens. So use this one to rearrange the apps on your home screen. And you could also do it on the iPad by just holding the app down till they wiggle and move them around with your finger. To see what apps you've got, to make it a little easier to find things, you can sort them. So at this point they're sorted by kind. If I wanted to sort them by category, I could switch it to there. Now all the books apps will be together, all the business apps will be together, and so on. And you've got more here, so you've got the scroll bar, so you can scroll down and see all the apps that you have purchased. If they're actually on your iPad, and you'll know because I'll have a tick. So some of these I actually haven't put on there. I've bought them and don't like them, so I've deleted them from the iPad, and I don't want them back on the iPad. So if I have that selected, every time I synced my iPad, the computer will copy them back. So you've got various options: sort by name, date, size. So if I want to see the most recent apps that I've purchased, I'm down on the very bottom here, but go up to the top. The last one I bought on the 22nd of August were these ones: Amazon Mobile, etc. This little tick here, automatically sync new apps. If you have that one selected, then every time, because I've got my phone also connected to this iTunes account, every time I buy an app on the phone and I have this selected on the iPad, it's automatically going to copy the app that I bought for the phone to my iPad. And I don't really want to do that, because iPhone apps are often different to the ones I want on my iPad. So this I deselect, otherwise I'm always forever deleting them off the iPad. Some of the apps are able to have files put into them, because the iPad doesn't have its own file structure like a computer. You can't go into the Windows Explorer or the Finder and find files, put them into folders. You have to find another way to do it. Many of the apps allow you, and if we look down here, these are all the apps that I have installed, and many of these apps I can actually drag a file into it from a Finder, and then I could read them on my iPad. So if I have some PDF files that I want to read, PDF Reader is one of the apps I have. I can actually add a file to the PDF Reader that you will find. Just trying to find it. I'll do it to the Adobe Reader. These are 3 files that I've actually added into the Adobe Reader by going to Add, which will then bring up your Finder. And then I can go to my documents, find a PDF file like this one, open it, and it's now here. So then when I go to my iPad and go to Adobe Reader, that file will be there, and I can read that file on the Adobe Reader. If I want to delete it, I'll delete it from the Adobe Reader app itself, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. So all these files, you're able to put other files into. So the GoodNotes, they have an inbox. You just add the file and save it into the inbox. So if you're wanting to put, so for example, a whole lot of recipes that are on PDFs, you could copy them into one of the apps like Goodreader. And a Goodreader is a very big file reading program. So I have a lot of document files, so Word documents, PDF documents that I've put into this that I can then read through the Goodreader app. And I'll look at that in another video, how you actually use those programs like Goodreader, Adobe Reader, PDF Reader to copy and transfer files and read them. That's the Apps tab. The Music tab will allow you to copy music from your iTunes library on your computer to your iPad. Now, if you haven't got any music on your iTunes library, you could go to the store, the iTunes store. Now, I've changed the settings on my iPad, so I don't want to apply those. The iTunes store is where you can get music and movies, TV shows. You could get apps for your iPad from here also. But this is the Music tab, and I think it comes up in the Music tab. So if I wanted to buy a song from iTunes or an album from iTunes, I can search for something. The only thing I can think of is ABBA. Don't know why. Not that I like them. So all of ABBA's albums, songs, music videos, iPhone apps, iPad apps, anything to do with ABBA now comes up here. So if I wanted a song, I could buy it from here by just clicking on that. And what it should do then is come up with, it's accessing the store now. And if I want to buy it, I don't want to do ping. I'm hiding that. Oh, it's actually downloading it, so it doesn't even give me an opportunity to put my password in. If you did that on the iPad, you'd have to put a password in. But it's now downloaded that song. If you want to listen to a song, you can click on it there for a horrible little preview. But once you've got some songs on there, so on my iTunes library, if I tap music, I have a whole lot of songs on here, songs and albums that I've collected over the years, and I can then put some of that music onto my iPad. And if we go back to the iPad in the Devices tab, so in the Music, the iPad, go back here. I've got Sync Music selected, and if I click this one, then the entire music library, and I've got 1,400 songs, would then be copied to the iPad. Now, I don't have enough room on the iPad for 1,400 songs, so instead I have selected playlists and artists and albums and genres. And so down on the left here, I have a whole lot of playlists that if I want those put onto the iPad, I can select them. So at the moment, I think I don't have much music, so I don't listen to a lot of music on the iPad. So I've got one playlist selected. So there's not going to be much music on there, but that's the only music that is going to be synced over to the iPad. This is the actual playlist here, and these are the songs inside that playlist. So at the moment, I've dragged those songs in to make that playlist, and I can then select some if I want them all or I only want a few of them. I can select that way. Or you could select by genre. So all the songs in your iTunes library have a genre. So if I just wanted to have all my audiobooks synced over, I could select that. If I just wanted classical music, I could select that, and only the classical music albums would be synced over. But you have a fair bit of choice and flexibility here to decide what music is synced over to your iPad, or you could actually add songs manually. If you don't have any songs, then of course your first task is going to be go back to the store, the iTunes store, not changing the settings, and download some music. Buy some music, buy it by the album, buy it by the song, or you could put your own CDs into your computer and convert them to songs, and that's sort of not the subject of this video, so I'm not going to go into that any further. That's the Music tab. The Movies tab, and if you buy movies that are already digital, you can buy movies from the iTunes store again. So if we go back to the store, there is a Movies tab that you can buy movies. You can either hire them or you can actually purchase them, and I'm not going to make the same mistake again by selecting something because I don't want to buy a movie. But there's a big search process there. You can search up here for a movie, and there's all sorts of charts and sections to find movies. But if you bought one from here, it would be downloaded into your iTunes library, and then when you went to the iPad and selected Sync Movies, you again have this option, automatically include all the movies that you've got. Now at the moment in my iTunes library there are 70 movies, and I don't want 70 movies on my iPad. So instead of that I could select the 3 most recent, and then it brings down a tab with a list of all your movies in there. So I might just want the Bourne Supremacy and the Bourne Ultimatum. They're the only movies that I want. So I will just select those 2 and click Apply. And then when I sync again, it'll just copy those 2. And you can play those movies through the Videos app on your iPad. At the moment, I don't want any movies synced to my iPad at all. And so when I move off this tab, because I've made a change, it's going to ask me to confirm that change or not. So if we look at TV shows, the same process occurs. You can sync all your TV shows, or you can just sync some of them. And again, when you go back to the store, I'm not going to apply those changes. There is a TV shows pane, and again, you can buy TV shows, whole series of TV shows, single episodes, and there's a good search mechanism there that you can find. There's a lot of good TV shows that you can get on there. Heart to Heart, if I wanted the whole thing, Heart to Heart Season 1, I could click on that, and then it will bring up all the different episodes. I can just buy an episode by episode just by clicking on that. It'll download it immediately because that's how my iTunes is set up. If you did this on the iPad, you could open up the iTunes app and download episode by episode. Before it downloaded it, it would ask you to put your password in. But I could buy it by episode, or I could buy the whole season. And once I've done that, go back to my iPad, I now have TV shows in my iTunes library that I want copied across to my iPad. So if I select Sync TV Shows, and then I've got another option, I want to include all unwatched episodes of selected shows. That's how I've set it up. So these are all my TV shows that I have, and I don't think I've got anything ready to be copied over at the moment. So if I wanted to copy Season 1 of Ashes to Ashes, then all unwatched episodes, because that's how I've set it up, or I could pick a different option. The 3 newest, the 5 newest, the 10 oldest unwatched. So you can keep changing your options on what you want copied over from iTunes to your iPad every time you connect your iPad to the iTunes software. So when I now sync, if I apply that, I need to apply that change here, which I'm not going to because I don't want to copy it. But I apply it, and then I would click the sync button, which will also come up here, and that whole series of Ashes to Ashes will start to copy to my iPad, and then I can play that through the Videos app on the iPad. When you look down at the bottom here, you can see how many videos you've got. So at the moment I've got 11 gigabyte of videos. So maybe I want to just copy. I don't want to copy a whole series, but maybe I'd like to have an episode of All Creatures Great and Small. And maybe the 3 oldest unwatched episodes. So now I can go and put in which episodes I want to copy. I just want those 3 copied over. I can apply that down the bottom, and then I can sync. And the sync process starts at the top. And again, it'll go through, if you haven't synced for a while, it's going to go through its whole 6 or 7 steps. It's going to back up, it's going to look for the apps that it hasn't copied across yet. And if you've been syncing regularly, it's not going to take too long. So I've got no new apps to sync. So now it's looking at what are the changes that I've put into my sync, and it's going to start copying across those 3 episodes of All Creatures Great and Small. So if we wait long enough, we should be able to see that happen. There they go now. So it's copying. Well, it's copying 6 of them. So there must be some others I've got selected here. I didn't deselect those 3. So it's taking across 3 out of that season and 3 out of the other season. So 6 of them are being copied over. And as it finishes, you'll see the video app starts to grow. So now I've got 7 gigabytes of video on here, and my free space has decreased. So that's all for this episode. The next one we will look at podcasts, iTunes U, books and photos.